Yeah, that's something that was coming up for me with
Mhm.
Wendy
Mhm.
was, especially in the first episode, I was like, "Where are her people? And where are her friends? And where are the women around her?"
I feel like her divorce was the most traumatic thing in her life. I feel like, with all her physical ailments, that she can handle, but I feel like he really stomped on her heart, totally disrespected her, um, and it has devastated her. It has devastated her, and she's been trying to fill that void with other things, negative things, unfortunately. And I hope that they are addressing that part of her life wherever she is. And I think that that healing will really help her go a long way.
Hey everyone, let's start healing. I'm Adrianne Murchison, and welcome to episode 133 of the Let's Start Healing podcast. We have more in common than we think, and what we have in common can change the world. Well, my best friend Tonya Guzman in Rochester, New York, is joining me for this episode because I really wanted to talk about the Wendy Williams doc and how that landed for me. And I wanted to know how it landed for her. There's been a lot of chatter on social media about people who have a lot of compassion for Wendy. And we have heavy hearts, many of us, as a result of seeing that documentary. And when I say we have more in common than we think, I say that because when I looked at that doc, I thought about people that I love or people that I know who are in need of care, are in need of caregiving as they get older and they have different conditions, and it could be uh, dementia or it could be an illness, and no matter what illness we may experience or someone may be experiencing, love is in order. Love is a part of the remedy. And so it was really bothering me that I didn't see her receiving any love from the people around her. And I had been talking to one of my loved ones about this, and he was saying how there was a conflict of interest because they were getting paid through the guardianship or ultimately with her money. So there's a little conflict of interest because there's different agendas at play. So for whatever reason, that was one of the things that was heavy on my heart. Even if somebody is belligerent, snapping at you rude, I know that's hard. And that comes up a little bit in our conversation, my conversation with Tonya. I just think that love is always in order because there's always a shift when someone experiences love. And maybe not always, but often there's a shift when they feel love or when someone makes them laugh or just takes them out of their mindset. And so to me, that's about caring. And it just hurt me to see that she wasn't receiving care and love. And that's what I'm saying when we have more in common than we think. I mean, we all want love and care at our most vulnerable times, for sure. So that's just one thing. Me and Tanya go into a lot of different avenues around Wendy. I want to remind you to subscribe to Let's Start Healing on whatever platform you're listening on. And please share Let's Start Healing with at least one person. Let's just get to the conversation. Let's get started. Let's meet Tanya and let's start healing. Welcome, Tanya.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this because I texted you early this morning and said, I want to talk about this.
Yes, you did.
I want to talk about Wendy.
Hmm.
Before we get to it, tell me how your day has been. How are you feeling on this Monday in your skin as Tanya?
I feel blessed. It's been a
Yeah,
busy day, but in a good way. Yeah, I had some commitments today, but pretty much things that I signed up for, so can't complain about that.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, we both watched all 4 episodes, right? We
Yes.
watched everything of Wendy
Mhm,
Williams.
mhm.
And so what is the how did you feel when you finished watching the last episode? Did you feel heavy? I had a heavy heart.
Um, well, you take things on a little bit more than I do, but I definitely felt sad. And so I probably had somewhat of a heavy heart because I did think about it like while I was trying to go to sleep. It was just very bothersome. And I know a lot of public figures go through a lot of things, but I just really felt for her and her situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was bothering you about it the most? Because there were so many different dynamics. Like you said, there's a lot to unpack. What were some of the things that were coming up for you?
Well, I mean, gosh, everything. From her mom passing to her losing the show to her. Can I say swear words on here?
Yeah.
To her asshole husband, or ex-husband, I should say, to the, strained relationship with her son, to her, allegedly being an alcoholic, having to go to rehab, her lymphedema, her Graves' disease, her physical condition, just overall, her having people in her life that don't seem good for her being away from her family, not having control of her finances, and some things she said just showed, I don't know, they mentioned alcohol induced dementia, which I had never heard of before, but just some things that she said were very off, and then being put in situations she shouldn't have been in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
would say for me, after watching the first 2 episodes,
Mhm.
I was really upset, and then I got even more upset with the guy, Will, and,
Mhm.
of course, the woman, Shawn, the communications person. So Will was her manager, and then
Mhm.
the communications person, because I was just feeling like I'm just at this point where I feel like, what are we doing with our lives? Who are we? How are we showing up in the world? And how are we living our lives? And this woman is clearly, in need of love and care. And that's not how he was treating it. That's not how he was treating her. And I just felt, even though he might be soft spoken in his tone, I felt she was being abused. I really did.
I didn't really feel like that from him. Um, I definitely felt like that from the girl. I think her name was Shawn, and
Right.
I felt like she was abusing her. So she wasn't yelling at her or cursing at her,
Right.
but um she was putting her in situations that she 100% should not be in.
Right.
And that's a form of abuse. Um,
Right.
she was using her, and I didn't necessarily feel that from Will. I felt like he cares about her. Now, I think it was the nephew or someone mentioned at the end of the day he's a jeweler. So, that's not something he's had a whole lot of experience in. I do think that, Wendy is can be difficult and challenging, and, not following, his advice. And I feel like, he has tried different approaches. Um, it seemed like, he did have some good ideas, but, he was definitely in support of she should not be working. She needs to, and I feel like he's in a awkward situation because, he has to go through the appointed guardian for things too, So
Well,
I didn't take away that he was abusing her.
I didn't feel like he was showing her love. And if you're not capable, if you can clearly see that she needs help. You can clearly see, in my eyes, you can
Mhm.
clearly see that she is in need of medical attention, round the clock care, a caregiver, somebody who maybe if I'm in that position, maybe I'm not capable of giving her these things because this is not my expertise. And if I know that this person is in need and she's fragile, then to me, it's my responsibility to step aside and let somebody else come in or alert whoever needs to be alerted that, listen, she needs medical attention. You know, there are people in nursing homes who are in the condition that she's in, that we saw her in. And then it was the third episode, I think, when he found the bottle.
Mhm.
And, you know, the other thing is, how is this alcohol getting to her, you know,
Right.
in her apartment? But he found the bottle and the way that he was talking to her, and why are you talking to the camera? And just, I felt like he was mocking her
Mhm.
and she's in this weak moment. And that's what I thought was abusive.
Hmm.
I just, when they would cut to her family members, I felt like her family members, I was seeing some note of emotion in them and caring in them and just compassion. And I wasn't seeing that, you know, in her. And what was really bothering me was, you know, I don't care if you have dementia or what, you know, love is sort of a you can convey love if you speak two different languages. Love is something that can be nonverbal to me, and she just was not receiving that.
Yeah, I feel like, people are different. People show love differently. And if he's not there, then who's going to be there? The family's not there. That lady Sean definitely did not have her best interest at heart. So perhaps he was just doing the best he could do under the circumstances. We don't know, like there's parts of it we don't know. And I'm not saying he was doing everything 100%, but I do think he was trying his best. And again, if he's not gonna be there, who's gonna be there?
Yeah, I don't know, like you said, there's a lot that we don't know, and I didn't understand. I thought she was being taken advantage of when she went to her old neighborhood. Like, what are they doing? They're taking promo photos? What is that? I thought he was spearheading that. Him and Sean. I don't know if Sean was there, but I thought that was a duo thing.
Yeah. I can't really say why. I don't know why they were there and what that was about.
They were taking promo shots, I thought, when they
Mhm.
were on the sidewalk. Um, I
Mhm.
can't remember, were they in New York or LA when they were on the sidewalk and the people came up? They might have been in LA, but
That
when
was
they
in
went
LA, yeah.
yeah, but when they went to her old neighborhood,
Mhm.
I thought they were out, you know, to take promo shots.
I don't know, I think I thought it was part of just the documentary, but I do recall him, towards the end say he's saying that she needs 24-hour care. Like, he tried this approach, he realizes that, this is not gonna cut it. He can't do it, and why it took so long, towards the end, I guess, where she's, admitted to a facility, like the sister said, it shouldn't have taken a year and a half. So why did it take a year and a half, you know?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What were you thinking, like, when you were saying, like, it was on your mind when you went to sleep last night? I think that was for a lot of people, you know,
Mhm.
myself included. She was, like, in the peripheral of my dreams. So, what were you thinking?
I'm not sure what specifically I was thinking. It was just feeling for her in the situation. It was just like, this is, you know, not good. Some things seem really shady. I'm hoping, her money is intact. Um, I thought it was very odd that she was in this facility and her all her belongings are moved. You're gonna tell me none of that stuff disappeared?
Right,
Yeah. What was that about? Who
right.
does that? She should be seeing what's happening, or certainly I would think that they would put it on pause,
Mhm.
but again, we don't have all of the information. So
Yeah. Like, I identify with her in different ways, because we're not far apart in age. Just her being in the condition and just thinking about caregiving in
Mhm,
my family, in different ways. And so a lot was coming up for me emotionally, drinking,
mhm.
a lot was coming up for me emotionally around a lot of different things. Was that happening for you in any way?
No, not really. I feel like when it comes to the drinking, we've had similar but yet different experiences with that, right? Because you've had it with more than one family member. I had it with my dad, but when he drank, he was nice. I would get money, so it's not a terrible memory for me. And then, when my oldest daughter was born, he pretty much stopped drinking and smoking. So,
I didn't realize that.
yep. He went on the, patch actually when Asia was born. Uh,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't say that, but, it was so many unanswered questions, Um, why couldn't the sister be the guardian? Like, I don't support the son. I think he's too young. But I think that, they should be grooming him to be the guardian, like maybe when he's 25, 26. I don't know, pick an age somewhere,
Yeah.
early 20s is too young to have that responsibility. But, um, I feel like the sister was willing to do whatever it took, but yet was denied. And
Yeah.
that's very shady.
Yeah. I mean, I think something's very suspect about Wells Fargo, and I bank at Wells Fargo.
Mm,
And, there's always something coming up with them in the news, and I just think there's something really shady about looking at her funds. I know that you can put a freeze on a person's account
mhm,
without going to the courts.
mhm,
There could be something you think is going on that's not kosher, and you can put a freeze, on funds at any
mm,
bank, I believe.
mhm.
But I don't know if she had multiple accounts. I don't know what, but based on the little information we have, it seems like they took some extreme measures.
Yeah, I have a story, so that's funny you said that because she said Wells Fargo has was very suspect also. So I don't know, but then I thought, well, why couldn't she hire an attorney to fight that? I mean,
Well, she's at that point, she's not in her normal state of mind.
right, but why couldn't the family hire it? Certainly, I think even in that state of mind, she would have been like, if that means I'm gonna get my money back, I don't
Right,
think she would have supported that.
right, right, right. Yeah. One of the overriding things for me has been about taking care of ourselves.
Mhm.
And I know, I'm not perfect. None of us is perfect, but I'm just looking at just being on the outside, just the road. And well, this is one thing that was coming up, that they were saying that, okay, she was already drinking,
Mhm.
and after the show, she might just go home, close herself up in, her space, be by herself and drink. And
Mhm.
then the pandemic exacerbated that.
Mhm.
And so I've seen that exacerbation in my family. I saw that among one of my family members. And then, even with me, I isolated during the pandemic, and I really had to have some not come to Jesus conversations with myself, but some, have some acknowledgments within myself. What is this life about? What do I want? Do I want to go forward? Because I just felt like very, very alone.
Mm.
And to me, it's a decision that we have to make if we want to live, if we want to be healthy, if we want to try to have happiness. And so a part of me is, feel sad because, she was in a spiral.
Mhm.
And then I also just feel like, we have to, it's two parts. We have to take responsibility for, our lives. Because all of a sudden we're a certain age and it's like, oh, what's going on with my body? Am I healthy? This is new. What is this? All of a sudden, you just get to a certain age and then you don't know what's gonna be up, you know? And so, um, it's that, and then it's also, I don't wanna be a person like, for me, Will or Sean, who's treating somebody in the way that I viewed it.
Mhm. No, I think most people probably, want to treat others with respect and love and compassion. Um, but I think that it requires some education because, I love my grandma and I did not recognize dementia was setting in for her. I just thought she was being hostile and
Mhm.
unreasonable. And there were other times if you saw me on camera with the way we were talking, you would be like, "That is so rude," but like, and I love my grandmother. So,
Exactly.
sometimes I feel like we got to give people grace and, we're not there and seeing the whole story. And, maybe we didn't see the day before when, he's being kind to her. And so again, I'm not on his case, but I'm definitely on that Sean lady's case. Like she's got to
Definitely.
go, um,
Mhm.
and not come back around. And then like as far as how does she get the alcohol? Because that was crossing my mind too. But there's so many ways. You got Uber Eats. She probably got a doorman that can get it for her. That Sean lady probably was getting it for her. So um, I think she just had resources. If she wanted something, she knew how to get it. Mhm.
It really is sad. Do you feel like this tarnishes her legacy?
No, I think that she has so many fans and people that love and care about her. You can't erase all the good that she did, her being in radio and the imprint that she left there, and then, transitioning to television. And, she was on for many years. You can't change that. She's very
Mhm.
talented, very smart. We all go through things, and this is something she's going through. She's got the star on the Hollywood Boulevard. You can't
Mhm.
get that away from her. So no, I don't think so at all.
Mhm. I was telling you that, I identify, with her just to, as far as being a woman of color,
Mhm,
Black woman, being close in age, and we're not gonna say how old we are right now, but I wonder if you could describe, um, characterize, like, just you being at this point in your life, you as a woman, how would you characterize it? You're as a professional, as a mother, um, what's it like for you being a woman at this point in your life?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm different now than I was, say, when I was 40. And,
Mhm,
I'm different now even from when I was 50. I was
mhm,
just talking to a close friend, and we're so similar, a close girlfriend. We're the same sign, we're so similar, and we're 10 years apart. And
mhm,
so I totally understand, like, what she is experiencing. And, not that it's has to do with age, but I
mhm,
I understand where she is spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and where I was at that point or not that long ago, and where I am now and how I feel now.
mhm,
I feel probably more empowered than I ever have.
mhm. Well, I think that most of us, as we get older, most of us mature. So you learn from mistakes that you've made in the past. And um, I think that for most of us, we appreciate life more and don't take things for granted and don't sweat the small stuff as much. Um,
Mhm.
I think that I am Well, I will say, I think I have always been like very grateful for what I've had. Like I tell God all the time how thankful I am for what He has done for me. But I think at this stage, I'm just grateful to have reached this stage of life, you know? I'm just happy that, he has let me be a mom. He has allowed me to, have the husband that I have, to have the parents that I had, to have the grandmother that I had, to be loved,
Mhm.
there are people on the earth who care for you. I don't have any siblings, so for him to give me you, is a blessing. So I've always been appreciative. I can't say I'm more appreciative now than I have been in the past because it's always been very important for me to let God know that I'm just so grateful for what he's done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's something that was coming up for me with
mhm,
Wendy
mhm,
was especially in the first episode, I was like, "Where are her people? And where are her friends, and where are the women around her?"
mhm,
And that is another thing that I felt about taking responsibility for our lives because,
mhm.
we have to cultivate friendships and,
Yeah.
you know
It's like, where's her village?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. Again, it's like commenting, but not having the whole story, I don't know. I do know sometimes, when you're busy, like I think about just my life right now, I feel like it's busier now than it's been in the past. And, um, with the responsibilities that, we all have. And, if you have a significant other, you got to work on that relationship. And it just, doesn't leave time for a lot of other things, so I can imagine she probably was twice as busy as I am. And, I find it challenging sometimes. It's like, I know I'm busy when I'm not even on check social media. I'm like, I don't have time to check social media. It's like, I know I'm busy then. So, I don't know, but usually you would think there'd be like at least one. Well, she did have that one friend that they showed. Remember?
Yes, she
Yeah,
had that
she
one
had that
friend. She had
one
that one friend. I
friend.
mean,
Mhm.
it sounded like she who knows? I don't know, but, like, she might have cut herself off from people.
Yeah, I'm sure she
Yeah.
did. Because when she's even though she's going through things, she knows she doesn't want others to see what she's doing.
Yeah,
Um, I think there's days that she was very clear and that she knew that something's not right. She knows that she's drinking. She knows that she's sleeping. Um, and
yeah,
you think about if you're in that state, you probably don't even have the energy to
yeah,
have a conversation and pretend like you're fine.
yeah. I
Mhm.
guess I just feel like this stuff catches up with us, and, she said even though she kept saying, "I need money, I want money," I felt that was because her money was locked up,
Mhm.
her money was taken from her,
Mhm.
but I don't feel that based on the little that I know, I don't feel like money was the biggest thing for her in her career. It seemed like she said from the time she was a child, she wanted to be famous. And
Mhm.
money is just something that comes from, as a result of that. But
Mhm.
she wanted the fame. And what I get from that is with the fame, you get the adoration, you get the love of the fans and the public. But
Mhm.
that's wonderful, but that's not the real love because you're not engaging on a personal level.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I could say that. I could say, "Oh, I want the fame, I want the fame," but that's not the same as my relationship with you
Yeah.
and my other close friends.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. And
Mhm.
so that's why I keep coming back to, just what's real. And, before we know it, it's like it's over. The journey's over. It's done. You know? All of a sudden we can't walk. We got Graves' disease, we got all these kinds of things going on, you know?
Mhm. What was I gonna say about that? I feel like her divorce was the most traumatic thing in her life. I feel like, with all her physical ailments, that she can handle, but I feel like he really stomped on her heart, totally disrespected her, um, and it has devastated her. It has devastated her, and she's been trying to fill that void with other things, negative things, unfortunately. And I hope that they are addressing that part of her life wherever she is. And I think that that healing will really help her go a long way.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I completely agree,
Mhm.
and I was remembering I watched her show in the beginning, and then I would see it here and there
Mm,
because I wasn't really down with the gossip part. I
mhm.
didn't it didn't bother me that much as much as I felt like she was leaving so much stuff out of other stuff that was going on that she wouldn't talk about. So, but I'm saying that to say that what I remember is how she would always talk about her husband, and it just seemed like her husband, her son, and, he was just mentioned a lot, and
Mhm.
so when all that stuff happens and it's so public, I mean, it's not only hurtful, it's embarrassing,
Right.
and yeah, that's huge. You feel betrayed,
Mm,
hurt, and the public is seeing what you're going through.
right.
That's really devastating.
And the girl Sean in her life was like, "No, I think she's okay." Like, "Sis,
Oh my god.
what we don't even know her personally, and Stevie Wonder can see that things are off,
Right,
you know?"
right, right,
And then
right.
it was so sad when she mentioned she was going to go by the name Hunter. I was like, "Oh." And then the whole when she gets her TV show, they're gonna take the wig they have to take the wig off. It's like, ugh, it
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
heartbreaking. But who knows what that day if she had alcohol that day, if she's mixing it with anything, is it just dementia? Because sometimes she was very clear.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I've seen that. I have seen how alcohol can exacerbate or bring on, forgetfulness, and then also now I don't know anything about anything, I'm just, like, speaking this, like, when I say I don't know anything about anything, I mean, as far as her condition,
Yeah.
right? Um, but I know, like, when I think about dementia,
Mhm,
uh, in some cases, people have clarity in the morning, and then they don't have clarity later
mhm.
on in the day, and I think they call that, like, sundowners, where they get worse as the day goes on, and then the next day they have more clarity and they're able to carry on a conversation with you. So there could be all kinds of things, I don't know.
I thought sundown was when at nighttime it's like they're up when they should be asleep. So they're up round the clock, but then in the morning when it's time to be up is when they're tired and they go to
Maybe that's it too. I don't
bed.
know. I just know, and maybe I got the term wrong, I'm not sure, but I
Mhm.
know from talking to people, family members of people who had dementia, that that was a thing. The morning they're clear, the day goes on, they're not they're not clear, and the dementia is becoming more severe.
Yeah, I just think that's a different term. My friend Teresa works like with older people, so when my grandma was around, she's the one that kind of taught me about that term.
With Sean, having her have drinks before this so-called meeting with NBC Universal, that was horrible. But then I go back to Will, and I don't know if I wanna know. Does she drink a lot? Like, negro, you know she drinks a lot, you know? And you don't know if you want to know
Yeah,
if
I
sh
can't
if this
remember
is
that
affecting her?
context.
Huh?
I can't remember the context of that. I don't know, but I do know this is the thing that kills me about Sean is because at the end of the day, that's not helping her with her job anyway. She's not going to get a job because she's talking crazy.
Mhm.
So you're not going to get paid. Like, I don't understand. It's just
Mm-mm.
so bizarre.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, the niece She was making more sense to me in the on the doc, but on the news shows, I found her confusing.
On the news shows?
Yeah, she's been doing interviews, like, she did interviews
Oh.
with Good Morning America.
Mhm.
I wanna say Good Morning America, definitely, I think with The View. I saw her, like, ABC News, like, on 3 different programs, and it
Mm.
might have been, like, recycling the interview,
Mhm.
but, I found her confusing, and I found it interesting that on Friday, they released a statement about the dementia and the aphasia right before the doc, because to me, that's giving the public the impression that, "Oh, they just discovered this." You know? Like,
Mhm.
"Let's release this new information," whereas we know that they knew this before Friday.
Yeah.
So, it just feels a little manipulative.
I feel like she only went into a facility because they knew this documentary was coming out. Mhm.
Mhm.
And how more crazy would they look if she still hadn't been admitted?
Yeah. But there was no question she seemed better when she was around her family, when she was in Miami,
Mhm. Yeah.
healthier and seemed to be some kind of improvements.
Mhm. And she needs to feel purposeful. She needs to be kept busy and feel like she is serving a purpose, and I
Yes.
think that helps her.
Mhm.
Isn't her son so cute? He's so
Yeah,
cute.
he is cute. And then the nephew to me looks like a little Mahershala Ali.
I can see you say why you say that. Yeah. Mhm. Yep.
But
Mhm.
somebody I was watching on, I think The Breakfast Club, and Jess was talking about when they met her in the restaurant.
Mhm.
I don't know, it was odd, like, they didn't hug her,
Yeah, it was
and
odd. Why were they so late?
then well, I think he said he had class, the
He
son.
did, but still.
Yeah, and then I thought, "Well, why doesn't somebody sit next to her?" But then I was like, "Well, maybe that's for the doc purposes, the filming purposes." It just was awkward.
Well, they made it clear their relationship is strained. So that didn't surprise me.
Mhm. Alright, Tanya, I just need to get some stuff off my chest, so so I really appreciate you, and, you know what? I like to ask people what their superpower is sometimes, and I think yours is your wisdom.
You think so?
I do. What do you
Hmm.
think?
I really never thought about that. Hmm. I think I might need a minute on that one.
Definitely your confidence.
Okay. I'll take it. Yeah. Mhm.
So lately, when have you most felt the presence of God?
Hmm. Well, you just want to talk about lately, it might be on Sunday at church. Um,
Outside of church.
oh, outside of church.
Yeah.
Hmm. Probably when I come home.
From church or
Just
from your
from
day?
anywhere. It could be anywhere. It could be from work. It could be from the store.
Hmm,
Mm,
that's beautiful. Why? What makes you say that?
because I'm just grateful. I know I'm going home. I'm loved. I have a home to go to. That
Yeah,
helps. Um, so I think, yeah, if we want to talk about lately, that's probably it.
yeah, you're going home to a family that loves you,
Mm,
a beautiful home.
mhm.
Mhm. I love it.
What about you?
When do I most feel the presence of God? In the mornings, and
Mm,
I would say lately, I feel it a lot in the morning when I'm taking Shiloh out because
mhm,
and in fact, I've been thinking how when it gets warmer, I wanna take him on longer walks in the morning.
mhm,
I just feel so much processing spiritually in my
mm,
mind. I'm outside, I'm around nature, like greenery or
Mhm.
wooded areas, and I'm with my dog who I love so much. And,
Mhm.
just being out there, I'm just thinking, but it's a light thinking. It's a connected feeling
Mhm.
that I really like.
Well, we can continue to pray and uplift Wendy, which I'm sure many of her fans will also do. Keep her in our prayers and in our thoughts. And we know that God is able, and, the devil is a liar. And, what we saw does not have to be the end result of, the Wendy that we know and love, wishing her the best. And, God can turn any situation around. So, I'm just going to continue and pray for her, and, I'll look forward to her testimony.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Mhm.
Miracles happen. And thank you for that prayer, Tonya. Can we say amen?
I don't know if it was a prayer, but
Good at
okay.
that. You're so good. I'm like, Tonya, I need a prayer. Go.
Hallelujah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Anytime. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can listen to all Let's Start Healing episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Please share Let's Start Healing with at least one person. And until next time, let's start healing.